The futuristic and menacing-looking Messerschmitt 210 was in fact one of the most disastrously unsuccessful warplanes of the entire war. It led to Willy Messerschmitt being forced to resign as chairman of his own company, and even caused Hermann Goering to exclaim at one point that he would have lived longer if the aircraft had never been produced. Designed from 1937 as a twin-engined multi-purpose fighter and attack aircraft to replace the Messerschmitt 110, the new two-seater fighter first flew in September 1939, but proved so troublesome that it didn't begin entering service until a year later. Its handling qualities were appalling, resulting in numerous crashes from uncontrollable spins. But a lot of the problems stemmed from trying to build too much new technology into an unproven airframe. One example of this is the pair of remotely controlled 13mm MG131 machine guns mounted in barbettes either side of the rear fuselage. Although these could be elevated and depressed to fire at almost any angle, aiming them was almost impossible, and their mechanical complexity rendered them so prone to malfunction that the aircraft crews usually ignored them. Then there were the equipment bay doors under the nose. Designed to carry either cameras in the photo reconnaissance role or a pair of 1,100-pound bombs, these clamshell doors resulted in such aerodynamic instability that only an almost suicidal crew would open them in flight. Another problem was the complex arrangement of ailerons, flaps and dive brakes, which were intended to help the pilot, but only served to make the 210 even more unstable, with a vicious tendency to flick into a spin. Some of these highly undesirable flying characteristics were eventually solved by fitting wing leading edge slots and lengthening the fuselage. But these modifications were not introduced until production had already been halted in 1942. A few new aircraft were built after this, but most production line facilities went to the Messerschmitt 410, which was very similar in appearance, but much more forgiving in the air. The Messerschmitt 210 was powered by two 1,050 or 1,350 horsepower Daimler-Benz 601 inline engines, which gave a top speed of 385 miles an hour, a service ceiling of 23,000 feet and a range of nearly 1,500 miles. Apart from the two machine guns in the barbettes, it had fixed forward-firing armament of two 20mm cannon and a pair of machine guns. Extra bombs could also be carried on external racks. The irony with the 210 is that the Luftwaffe was so impressed with the design specification that they ordered 1,000 even before the aircraft first flew. But only 352 actually entered service, and many of them were converted to 410 standard with 1,750 horsepower engines. The aircraft only saw very limited service over Russia, England, Italy and Tunisia before it was finally abandoned in 1944.